Today we're going to be talking about how you guys can get ready for your first game. Now, the first thing that you need to do to help you be as prepared as possible for your first game is prepare from Monday all the way up until Thursday, assuming that you play on Fridays, right? So let's say you play on Fridays. This is what I did in high school to prepare. We would get a practice plan every single Monday. Like, listen, this is what this defense or the team that we're playing, this is the coverage they like to run. These are their best players. These are the plays that we are adding on this week, and this is our game plan. These are the plays that we like to run. So what I would do is I would take that practice plan, obviously review it. I'd go to practice that day, but when I got home, after I finished my homework, after I ate meals, I would go into my backyard and I would literally close my eyes and try to visualize each play that we ran and each play that we ran from practice. So let's say it was a play like, maybe like a smash concept where it was a hitch on the outside and then a corner from the slot. And you could do this at any position. If you're a receiver, you could visualize how you'd run your route versus a specific coverage that defense is coming out against. But what I would do as a quarterback at the time was I would catch the snap, I'd have my eyes closed, I'd visualize, okay, if the corner comes down, I'm gonna reset my feet and throw this route. If the corner stays back, I'm gonna throw it. And I would walk through those different scenarios and visualize that type of stuff in my head. I know it sounds a little weird and a little corny, like to visualize things, but I'm telling you right now, guys, it's one of the best things you could do to prepare. If you visualize your job, your specific job on every single play, and you prepare from Monday all the way until when your game is, trust me, you're gonna be prepared from a mental side of things and a playbook side of things. Now, if you're a football player and you guys want to maintain or put on weight during the season, one of the most common mistakes that athletes will make is that they stop eating, they stop consuming enough protein during the season, so they will drop weight, and that will lead to decreased performance on the field, and you're not going to be as strong. So guys, if you want a great whey protein powder that can help you guys supplement for meals when maybe you're on the go as an athlete, check out that very first link in the description below for our AG Labs whey protein powder, specifically made for athletes. This is the best tasting protein powder on the market. We have 4 different flavors: cookies and cream. This is our salted caramel frappuccino, cinnamon snickerdoodle, and we have many more flavors that you guys will thoroughly enjoy. So guys, if you want some more information, check out that very first link in the description below. And if you want to get a 25% off discount on our protein powder, use the promo code FIRST25, FIRST25 at checkout to get 25% off your whey protein powder. Now, the second thing that you guys can do to prepare for your first game is get a good night's sleep before the game. Now, I'm not talking about you need to sleep for like 10 hours. You should probably try to get like, I would say 8 hours in, maybe 7 hours, depending on what time that you go to bed, depending on what time that you get up. Everybody's got different schedules. Sometimes you got to get up early because your parents got to get to work. Sometimes people may not get to sleep until late because they got to do homework. I get it. I understand. But you need quality sleep. And what does quality sleep mean? That means you're in a deep sleep where you are actually dreaming. I think for me especially, one of the things that I struggled with was always getting deep sleep where I was actually dreaming. There was like a long span of time, you guys, when I was an athlete where I would hit the pillow and then I would wake up and it felt like I didn't even dream, I didn't even sleep, and that was like every single night. And again, caffeine certainly helps with that, but that takes a toll on you over time. And all of a sudden, guys, you crash at the end of the day, and it's just a vicious cycle that repeats itself. So what are some things that you could do to make sure that you're getting deep sleep? And there's 2 pieces of advice that changed everything for me in terms of a sleep perspective. 1, don't eat anything at least 2 to 3 hours before you go to bed. So let's say you go to bed at 9 o'clock. If you eat dinner from like 6 to 6:30 and then you don't eat anything after that, that's perfect. And also try not to consume any sugar with dinner. So don't eat dinner and then have a bowl of ice cream or some cookies, because all that's going to do is affect your sleep. Second thing, you guys, is don't go on your phone or watch TV or play video games. Get any blue light, because obviously that light that comes off your phone is blue light. The light that comes off the TV is blue light. That's not good for you guys. It's not good for your eyes. That's not good for your mind. It's not good for your brain. That also affects your sleep. So at least 1 hour before you go to bed, say you go to bed at 9, from 8 to 9, it should be nothing. If you need to be able to unwind, read a book or just sit there, I don't care really what it is, but don't look at your phone and make sure that you're not looking at a TV screen. If you do those 2 things, I promise you your sleep is going to be a ton better and you're gonna feel more energized on game day. Now, tip number 3 to help you guys prepare for your first game is to find some type of pre-game routine that you could repeat and stick to that process. It's kind of a way to kind of almost quiet your mind and relax yourself if you have a pre-game process. So at least for me, like I remember what I would do is, like, let's say school ended. Like school would end for us like in high school, at least I'm just saying this is like in high school. In high school would end probably around like 2 o'clock, and then our game wouldn't be till 7 o'clock. So I had 5 hours of like downtime, and we had to be at the school at, I want to say, like 4 o'clock for walkthroughs, right? So that was a part of the process. 4 to like 4:30, 4:45 was walkthroughs. From like 4:45 to like 5:15 was us driving to the field. Obviously, this can vary based on how far the game is. And then when you get to the locker room, you have early outs, which is usually skill position players, kickers, and then you go right into the warm-up, and then you got the game. So I would say in that like window between after school ends and until the game, you need some type of process. So I remember what I would do is I would do the same thing every time. I would have a meal at a certain time. I would have my headphones in at a certain time. I would maybe do a little bit of homework at a certain time, but I stuck to that schedule. And if you stay on that schedule, you don't let that like anxiety and that worry of what might happen, the stuff that you can't control, eat away at you. That's like pre-game nerves, obviously. And those are totally normal. Don't get me wrong. Everybody has those. But if you have a set schedule that you could follow, it's going to be a lot easier of a time for you. Now, also when you get to the field, when you get to the game, you should also have like a warm-up routine that you follow. I remember I would always do a specific warm-up for my legs. I would do like A skip, B skip, C skip. I would follow that pattern to a T. Then I would do some like hip warm-up exercises for quarterbacks. I would maybe throw a little bit with my receivers. I'd go back in the locker room. I'd put my gear on. I'd go back out there for team warm-ups. It was a process, guys, because that process and that routine can help take your mind off of the uncontrollable things, which is where the anxiety and the nerves come in. Now, in your first game, obviously I get it. Nerves might be a little high. You might be a little bit anxious, but at the end of the day, guys, you have to take things one rep at a time. This was something that I didn't learn until later in my football career, and I wish I would have learned it earlier, that literally as a football player, all you can control is your job on a given rep and on a given play. Nothing else. Like, you can't, like, let's say you're a quarterback. You can't control if the offensive line misses a block. I can't control if the receiver runs a bad route, drops a pass, whatever. I just got to do my job. Get the ball out on time, make the right read, and throw it to the open guy. And if I do my job perfectly and the play doesn't work out, it's not necessarily my fault, but all I can control is what I am doing. Yes, as a quarterback or maybe another position, you want to elevate players, teach them what to do. Hey, do this, hey, do that. That's part of our job. But focus on your job one rep at a time. And if you just, and again, when the play ends, on to the next rep. Bad result, on to the next rep. Good result, on to the next rep. Don't dwell on the plays in the past. Just have that next play mentality and just focus purely on your job. And trust me, guys, the game goes by faster. The game starts to slow down for you. You can relax and those nerves start to vanish.